All right, Kiss Army, welcome to the KissFAQ Podcast. Thank you for giving us your time today and letting us into your head. I hope we don't do any damage. We hope that you enjoy. Welcome to a special episode 368 of the KissFAQ Podcast. As you can see, we've got a wild man. Are we going to talk about Wasp today, or should we talk about Kiss? Because we got Neon God 2 that we got to get to that with Bill pretty soon. I want to get that back on track. It's been a long time. So Andy's back. Andy's attended the first couple of nights of the Kickstart My Fart Tour. Kickstart My Old Fart Tour. I know, End of the Road is kicking back off, has kicked back off in Mansfield at the Xfinity Center, and that is, of course, Massachusetts. On, what was it, Wednesday night that it started again on the 18th?
Yep, Wednesday night. So, it'd been, what? It was scheduled for September 4th. It was Labor Day weekend, actually. It was supposed to be Friday, September 4th, 2020. So it's been a long time coming since the band's been on the road, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, so when's the last time you saw them? What was the last show or Kiss-related show that you've seen during the pandemic and plague?
Oh, because they had started back up the tour in New Hampshire. It was February? No, March? Oh, my God. People are going to like...
Yeah, you're right. It was February the 1st, 2020, Manchester, New Hampshire.
Yeah, that was the start of the second part of this tour. So now we're in the third part of this tour.
Yeah, and that one, of course, that leg of the tour last year came to an end in March, soon after my final or most recent show with the band in Oakland. I mean, they made it on for a couple of the dates. Gene had some health issues as well, with COVID taking, control of our lives. So the tour ground to halt. Since then, they've done the New Year's Eve Kiss from Atlantis, Palm, Jamaica, in wherever, Dubai, and I'm still waiting for my shit from that, and people are starting to lose their shit about how long that's taking to get that done. But and they also did the Battery Park thing.
It's probably being re-recorded, if you know what I mean. I didn't say that. Okay, never mind. All right, moving on.
Yeah, no, it's not. I don't know what I think the delays are with the band approvals, because I did see an edit of it after they fixed the botched intro from the pay-per-view. I mean, it was awful how they screwed up the intro, such a critical part of a Kiss show. But that had been fixed, and I thought it looked really good. There are still few consistency issues between the audio feeds and the video, so there were a few problems that probably had to be fixed, a few artifacts showing up in it. So there was work to be done, without a doubt, but I think there's a little bit more to that story going on, probably business related, because I know the stream did not reach as many people as they had hoped. But Tribeca, that performance didn't count for shit. That was just a little feel-good moment for everyone, and good hype for the A&E biography. But you are the real start of the kickoff or re-kickoff of the tour. So, man, how many shows? Number one, let's start with how many shows are you doing while they're in your area?
Well, tomorrow would be number 3, but as you're hearing that Hurricane Harani, I don't know, however people say it, is supposed to hit direct center, as they're saying, as like a couple hours ago. Dead center hit Hartford, Connecticut. So I know Kiss is playing tonight in Atlantic City, which they probably will play. But I think tomorrow, I don't know. I'm hoping they postpone it or can't. I think it's going to get canceled. I can't even say the word postpone, because I think after this, they're just going to keep moving on. I think that whole show is going to be... I can't see them turning around going, because I know they have like 3 or 4 days off after tomorrow night. Then they go to Ohio. Then they start heading down to, North Carolina, Atlanta. They start heading out that way. This tour, this part of this tour is only, a month and a half, 2 months, if that. It's not very long.
No.
So I can't see them swinging all the way back for the one show. So I have
No,
a feeling.
they've got a couple of day window depending on the severity of the storm, and we've seen shit like that. Historically, Hartford, has had. Obviously, we're doing the Aerosmith book. I know of a Cult Park show that got moved indoors to Springfield. I can't remember the year off the top of my head, so it does happen. They've got the 23rd and the 24th as possible rain days, but there's also travel to Toledo and all the shit that goes with the back end planning, and then there's down to I think more importantly the number of tickets sold for Hartford, and
It's
I'm just checking the stats. That's a 25,000
it's
seater. So has it sold well? And that will dictate, I think, what they do. Because if it has sold well enough to justify it being bumped to the 23rd or 24th, if it's feasible in terms of all the logistics, I have no clue. I don't work in that business, so I don't know what it is. Then I would think that they would try and make all efforts. And if it's not, then it's like, fuck it, on to Toledo.
well, you gotta think too. There's every other band in the world out there who maybe hasn't been out in the woodworks forever, and other bands that have tours. So, all these people are fighting to get, I wouldn't say fighting, but to get slots, to get arenas, to get things. So there might be, I didn't check, but there might be other bands that are playing right behind them. They might be on one that's supposed to be a show there Monday, Tuesday, whatever days. So you never know. So I guess we're just gonna wait and see. I'll call, I'll call Expediency Center tomorrow, and let's see if they actually give me the right information this time.
Now, from you, what's the travel like to Hartford? I mean, it's not that far, is it?
From here, from the house, because we're back home now. It's like an hour and like 10 minutes, or something like that. 15. It's nothing. It's easy.
That
But
still blows my. I mean, from my trip out there, a couple of months ago, just how easy it is to get from, Massachusetts up to New Hampshire, up to Maine, Rhode Island, Connecticut, and then Eastern New York as well, for that matter.
well, that's one of the biggest things about when Kiss used to come around. It's like, oh yeah, it's awesome. You go see a lot of shows, and then you got to think, oh my god, I'm going to spend a ton of money. You know, stuff like maybe the 80s. The 80s you could get, you could get tickets for like $20, and you could be like really, really close with like $25. Not no more, but you know what I'm saying? So it was, but that's what's good about here. You could hit like, you know, everywhere. I could be in New York City and within 4 to 5 hours, depending on the traffic. So, and I'm talking like dead in the city. So where Kim and I live is dead central Mass, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
great in the shows. And I mean any band you want to see. So if the band doesn't play in Mass, you could go see another. You could see them in New Hampshire or Maine or Rhode Island or New Jersey, New York. Anyway, because nobody plays in Vermont hardly.
Yeah, I actually abandoned going up to Vermont for the Aerosmith research. I was down in Worcester, and I decided I'm just going to go up to Ascutney, which is Vermont, but went by Swansea, New Hampshire. That's 90 minutes, 2 hours by car from Worcester. So from yours, 45 minutes or so less. So again, it's so compact. I'd forgotten, with growing up in upstate New York, Binghamton, that everything is very conveniently located. Binghamton, not so much, being the tri-tier area, but where you are in mid-Mass, wow, fantastic for someone who gets a lot of shows, a lot of population centers, as well. If you think that Hartford's 25,000, Mansfield 15,000, I think its capacity is closer to 20. But yeah, let's talk about, Mansfield. So you've seen the full end of the road tour. You know what to expect. What were your expectations for this show? And I noticed that you had a fantastic new costume. So why don't we start about that with the story of, number one, who made that, and what were your plans, and what went wrong?
Yeah. So first of all, let me start out as that Kim and I, you know, um, we had these tickets for over a year with a couple of friends. Actually, we had a couple of friends that went with us for the night one show, and they invited us down to their place to hang out for a while, which was actually really cool for me and Kim too. But it was actually made me, like, believe it or not, chill out. It was like unbelievable. But every time we go on a Kiss Roadshow, I always packed the car with extra goodies. I was posting pictures of banners. I threw all kinds of stuff in the car: masks, sunglasses, Kiss sunglasses. Each guy's got their own glasses, everything, mask, you name it, extra makeup, this and that. And then I was debating on to if I, because shows I would wear an outfit and the war paint. And I was like on the debate because of all this stuff that's going on. We didn't know if the shows were really still going to happen, even though the virus seemed to be starting to calm down. And then all of a sudden, the virus now picked up again, and the various and all this crap. So next, Massachusetts was doing pretty good, and then all of a sudden, something happened in Cape Cod area, and then the virus exploded down the Cape. It started escalating, and it started going up from down south from the Cape and coming up towards towards the Boston area and all that area. So like, oh, here we go again. We're gonna get locked down. There's gonna be no shows. And then like 2 weeks before, I said, you know what, man, I gotta do it. So I contacted Megan Ketchen. Megan, please. I hope I said your last name right again. I always screw it up. I always screw everybody's names up. This is just how I am. But Megan, who does these awesome costumes and not just Kiss outfits, she will do everything. She's done Motley Crue ones, and you name it. She anything you want, man. It's off the hook. Well, I said contact her. I says, "Hey Megan, can you do me a favor?" And she knew it. She's like, "Oh, Andy, what do you want?" And I says, "You know what? I want to do something different. I never tell anybody. Like I used to do them on the Kiss cruise, and I would just surprise people. All of a sudden, I would just show up. Like she made the tunic for me, aka I call it the dress, and we still laugh about it. The cream one that Ace is wearing, that purple like jumpsuit that was white and they tied it, whatever. And she made me another one. So I mean, oh yeah, the creatures one, the Ace creatures one, and it's just been a whirlwind of fun. And I turn around and I says, you know what, I got to do it. And Ace is coming next month, as we know, in September, and I can go on a couple of shows of that here in September. So I said, I got to do it. I need a Love Gun costume. I just totally, people freak out at all the times and all who else, because I have a destroyer one, stuff like that. But everybody's like, man, I love to see you in a Love Gun one. So I said, you know what? Contact them. I'm like, I need to do. Can you do me a favor? I need a Love Gun costume. And she just said, what? I need a Love Gun costume. Thing. And then I had my destroyer boots, so she made covers for it. So she asked me, give her the sizes, because I lost some weight from my, previous what's going on with me with the non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. So I had gained weight without knowing what I had, and I lost a lot of weight. So I lost like 30 something pounds. I was like at 240 last August. Now it's like 205 now, which is pretty good. So I'm still working on it. It's a tough, it's one of those tough things. You got to work on stuff. And if I don't do the right stuff, I feel it now, So I told her, so I gave her all the measurements, and she made the whole outfit in 2 weeks and shipped it from Canada down here. I got to the States. She sent it down. And I started teasing people. I put up one of the cuffs up, took a picture of it, like 3 days before the show, put another cup up, and then I put the boots up, and people were like, holy shit. And then,
she is badass. The work that she does is fantastic. It looked incredible. I thought it looked excellent, absolutely excellent, and especially being Love Gun era, it just was very, very well done. So congratulations to her for the work that she does, because I've seen her other stuff. She made your suit for your wedding as well, didn't she?
Yeah.
So yeah.
And so I mean, it's she's unbelievable, but. This is like 2 weeks, and literally she got it done, and she says, I'm done it. And I'm like, oh man, let's hope it gets by the border. Bang, she shipped it. She's like, oh, Andy, I'm all done and shipped it. And it got here like 2 days later, and it was like, like I said, only like a couple days before the show. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to tell anybody, but I'm getting so excited. I'm like, look at this thing. So I said, I put it on to test, you got to put it on just to make sure, because I gave her measurements, hopefully we do good. And it came out, pretty well, the measurements, everything was perfect. And I'm like, I got to take pictures. So I, grabbed the, Kiss robe. It was black. I don't have a silver one. And then I said, hey, Kim, we got to take some pictures. And then I stood up on the, like the bar chairs, and I did like the kind of Kiss Mr. Phantom, thing.
Yeah, that looked really good. What were you wearing on your face? What was that you had?
What was on the what?
Was that a mask, or was that paint?
No, that was a half mask they had. Came out like a 96 instead of the full thing, the half mask. And I'm like, I'm just putting it on now for fun.
That was really weird, though. That was almost Mike Myers meets Space Mike Myers. That was really kind of weird. And of course, with your hair not being blue black as well, it was a very interesting look. But costume wise, I love the one up on the deck chair. Phantom mask. That was really cool.
So I posted it up everywhere. And people were like, "Hey, that's kind of cool," and this and that. And then I posted up on an Ace website, another group, which these people are supposed to be Ace fans, and I'm getting killed. They're killing me.
They're a tough audience. They are harsh. They are total space Ace cadets, and they don't give any ground whatsoever.
Awful, man. I was like, what? And then I turned around and said, okay. Then I, did the love gun pose, standing like this, and then I did the thumbs thing, and then did some more, and I posted more pictures, the day of the show, the night before, saying if you see me, just whatever, blah blah blah, and I put them up on that website, and people are just killing me. They love the costume and stuff, and they're like, "Why are you wearing a mask? Going through all that because you're wearing a mask?" And I was like, "I'm testing the suit, number one, and number two, it's just a replica." You know what I mean? I'm not Ace Frehley, for Christ's sakes. It's just
you know what? The internet peanut gallery is a tough audience. You know what? And that's why you just got to make yourself happy. You're gonna get some people on there who want to down you. There's gonna be some who really are, just armchair critics, and others who are like, awesome, man. And you put it out there. You got to take it. You take your lumps no matter what.
I know, but it was just so disheartening because this is supposed to be an Ace period group, promoting Ace, being happy, an Ace thing, right? And I'm just getting bashed. And these guys people are supposed to be Ace fans. I was just a little stumbled by it, a little bit. I know people say things here and there, but man, I was actually really getting crushed by people. I'm like, wow, and then Kim's going there, chill out. He's just having fun. It's just for fun, guy. People just whatever. I guess this is the new world of Kiss fans. Just crush each other, right? That's why, just terrible.
That's why we got to keep doing what we're doing. What you are doing, keep doing. Make yourself happy. You'll make some others happy or make them smile, and don't worry about the rest. You can't control it. Not worth the time of day.
I still had a blast. It's still fun. So, anyways, I don't want to keep pondering on that. I feel bad for that guy too, because the guy's a good guy who runs the place.
He's awesome. Oh yeah, he's a very cool dude.
This guy and everything else, man. I have no problem with him. So he's all good. I just feel some of the people sometimes on that. But anyways. So she did this suit. I had to
wait. Just one last thing on that. Then I'm glad you didn't post the pictures on the FAQ, because if you thought that was a tough audience, oh my God, I would have been banning people.
Yeah, well,
actually, post them. Then I get to ban some people.
Okay, do it. Yeah, you can take them. I don't care. I don't do what you want after this. I don't get. So, anyways, so I can't thank her enough again. I should always say, when I do these podcasts, I always try to talk about the better things. So. Man, she is just off the hook. I can't give her enough credit. So if anybody, I'm serious, anybody's looking for anything, I mean, it doesn't even have to be Kiss. If you you want an Aerosmith thing, oh my God, a Poison suit, you know what I mean? Anything I'm serious, man, even like Alice Cooper, because Ace and Alice are going to be together next month. So anyways, so I've never had a problem, I wouldn't say a problem. When I wore the suits or makeup and stuff, there's only been one place, and that was last year's when this ended the road. And actually, I didn't even wear it. I took a break because I know in Connecticut at the Mohegan Sun, it's a casino, so I know you can't walk through technically the casinos with makeup on because they're afraid so many people with makeup on, they can't tell who it was by face recognition or whatever that stuff is. Yeah, but how fast can you run in?
Yeah, and for checking IDs, for buying booze and whatnot, so all that crap.
No, they didn't care about that. They just cared that people walk around. Actually through the casino part, but you could stay in that area if you've ever been down in Mohegan. There's like a whole big area there with shops and stuff, but you could walk around the shop areas and stuff, but you can't, other than that, you can't go out of the zone. But last year they actually stopped people, period, even in the zone. So there were friends I know that had makeup on. They're like, no, you can't wear it. You got to take it off. I was telling people, and they're like, you got to be kidding me. No. Oh, yeah, and you just pulling out late because you're not doing it tonight. I'm like, go ahead. Yep, they went up, take it off. So anyways, so that's that part. So, with all the world changing, everything, all these, crazies, nut jobs out there in the world and all this stuff is, so for the first time I did what you call the right thing. I actually called the Xfinity Center a week before saying, can you wear the outfits? Can you wear makeup? And they're like, well, we don't know. Da, da, da. And I'm like, well, you know who this is, right? And they're like, well, it's Kiss, you guys. People wear makeup and stuff. Well, we don't know. So I never got the call back. So the day of the show, me and Kim were starting to hell with a friend's house, and we and I called from the gas station. I'm sitting there. I'm like, oh wait, Uncle Kim went and ran inside. I called, and the girl answers the phone. She goes, "What's up?" And I'm like, "Hey, I called you guys a week ago. Can I wear the suit and costumes because like I said, the way the world is, and the makeup?" And she says, "No, you can't. Can't what?" She says, "You can't wear makeup in the place." I'm like, "So I can't wear it in the parking lot?" "Oh no, you can do what you want in the parking lot, but you can't wear it in the arena area once you get through the gates." And I'm like, "Are you serious?" And she's like, "No, seriously, you can't." So I says, "Well, you guys never put up a thing. You guys better put one up fast because they said this is Kiss. There's gonna be a lot of people in makeup probably." So of course, what do? To do the nice thing. After that, I go up on my Facebook, do a video saying you can't wear makeup, blah blah blah. If you want to call the Xfinity Center, you can, but they just told me point blank you can't. So and I posted on a couple other posts on my own page stuff, and then we get there and there's people in makeup hanging around, and I'm like, man, these people are going to be sorry. So what do? I can't wear the makeup, so I take that half mask and I wear the half mask, taking pictures with anybody and everybody who wanted one. So whatever, it is what it is. So, and I figured I'd just take the mask off, stuff it in my
What
thing.
a freaking nut punch, though, that is. I mean, you try and do the right thing.
Yeah, and I got to stuff it in my thing, and I walked through security without it. Or actually, I was going to wear it, and then they told me to take it off. I took it off, stuffed it in my thing, get through the security, walked around, and then slap it back on until somebody inside the arena area says, "Hey, take that off." Then I would have just took it off. But what happens? We start walking up, and next thing there's all kinds of people, and I can see the lines, and they're going through. Now there's people getting through. Now there's people all upset because there are people who did the same thing as I did. They called, they were told no, and then the people coming through. And it wasn't just kids, there were adults. They were letting them walk through, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. But it was funny. We got up to the point where you get through the gates. There were about 5 or 6 police officers standing there, and I'm walking. I'm, doing my thing, walking in, and next they all stand up, and all of a sudden they start walking towards me. I'm like, uh-oh, here it comes. They're going to tell me I can't wear the suit, or I'm going to take the mask off or something. Cop comes up to you, goes, "Dude, I got to have a picture of you."
That's cool.
Look, dude, he's like, "I got to have a picture with you." And then all his friends are like, all these other police officers are phoning out their cell phones, bang, 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 taking pictures. So we got a couple of pictures of that. I thought that was hilarious. I thanked them for their services, and they're all happy, and they're all thank you, and this and that and everything. So I walk up through the thing, and Kim had like a little pocketbook thing, just a little bag. You can take a little bag. They're like, "You come here." So they grab it, so they fall, and I'm like, "All right, here we go." We get to go through the metal detectors. I'm standing, and all the security was on. So now I'm going this way, but all the security is to my left.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as I got close to the thing, they all got up and they all started walking towards me, and they started pointing at my boots, and they're like looking at them, and I'm like, uh-oh, here we go. And they're like, "Hey, you're supposed to put your hands over your head," and I could barely get through the metal detectors, because I'm only tall enough as it is. So I get through, and they all come up, and they're like, "Cool outfit," and in my boots, nothing went off on me. I don't have anything on me, except for my cell phone, which was tucked in my thing, and they didn't care. So they're like, "Yeah, no problem." They all started laughing. They're like, "Hey, cool costume, dude." So now, so we're going through. So we get through, and then, of course, it's, it only takes us to one. That's all it does. Somebody comes up to me, and they're like, "Is it okay if I have a picture with you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course, no problem." Bang, that's it. That's all it takes. And my friends that had never been to me with a show with a costume on were like, "Oh my God, you can't." I can take like one step and then pictures, and they're like, and I'm like, "Yeah, that's what I'm here for. No big deal." And then we walked up. I had to get like 50 feet to get to the merchandise line, and it took me like 45 minutes to get to the merchandise line, because people are just like taking it, which I loved it. It's that's what you're there for, to have fun, taking pictures. And a lot of people I knew came up to, that I know, and they're like fist pumping. And I'm kind of glad in a way that I had the mask on, believe it or not, is because people want to take the pictures with you. You get close, and with all this virus stuff going on, I know you don't know what people's personal preferences, get the shot, not get the shot. You never know, this kind of stuff. So actually having the face mask on the whole time, basically the time, it might have been protecting me anyway. So you got to look at it that way. So, so we get line, and the merchandise line is super long, dude. They could give away 1,000 tickets and still make up for all the merchandise. It was absolutely insane. The lines, one line, insane. But they had like 4 or 5 people with computers, now with the screens, they could touch and things. Because I saw it, they had a screen, like whatever, computer, a laptop thing. They could spin it and throw it, and they're showing, it's pictures of all the merch. So they're not like trying to, how much is this? Remember the old days? They had to take out a calculator. I remember the old days going up in the 80s and stuff. Hey, I want one of everything. And they're like, what? And you like pull it all down. And you're like, with a calculator, trying to figure out with a calculator how much. But now it's like bing, 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 bing. So that part's really cool. So they had some, I don't know, I guess people are saying, I took a lot of photos of the merchandise. Night one was kind of hard because, of course, I was all dressed up. But the second night, I got closer photos. So there's I posted a lot of photos up on my page about the merchandise, what was there and what wasn't there. And actually, the second night in Maine, they had added a couple more things than the first night in Mass. So,
I saw the things that matter to me, which are the Tommy Thayer mini guitars. I still want one of those, and the Eric Singer signed drum heads. I still haven't gotten one of those. Those are the things still on my list.
Oh, well, you should have told me. I would have grabbed you if
Well, I'm hoping the tour gets my way, and I actually get to do it myself.
Well, that's the other thing too. What's going to happen in the next month with all this stuff going on? You never know. So, anyways. So we get up there. They had, one of my other friends, Jim, he sent me a message saying, hey, Andy, man, they got a new tour book. And I'm like, oh, boy, that's the thing I wanted. If they're changing the stuff, anything, it's the tour book. I want a tour book because I got 1 through 5. So I know there's supposed to be some Australia one, whatever. So anyways, that didn't get out, but I guess some leaked out. But I don't know the whole story. That's kind of what it is. So anyways, it says V6 in it, and I got it, grabbed it, and did that. It had a keychain, which the keychains are like $15. They're like metal. It's not bad. They're like $15.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah, I mean, it just says the icons on it. End of the road. It's kind of neat. So, and then I grabbed a poster. It's the same. The final tour ever, but they have these newer dates on it. Newer dates, thick. It's thick. It got a little bit. It's got the newer dates on it. It's thick. I think they were like $30. Yeah, it's $30 for the poster and like $40 for the the tour book. And it's funny. It's weird because the last time they came around, like Manchester, New Hampshire, was when they started the other tour. I said, well, man, the next night or whatever, I said, I'll grab the poster because, like the tour was supposed to go longer and longer. So I would have grabbed the poster. I said, I'll get a poster the next time, right? Dummy me, I should have grabbed it because you know how hard it was to find and get the poster from that 2020, Manchester, New Hampshire, that month they played. Those posters basically, I think, got destroyed. They must have burned them or something. I had a hard time. And Kip's like, hey, what do you want for Christmas? I said, you know what? I never usually ask for anything. I said, that's the one thing I want because that's the shows that we went together, and I like to make a thing with her and I and, put confetti, grab the confetti from there and all that stuff. So that poster was very, very hard to get, believe it or not. You wouldn't think so, but it was. It finally got one. But anyways, so by the time we got to the merchandise stand, and we says, oh, yeah, can we get a bag to put this poster in? And they, no bags. What? No bags? Oh, my God. It's like, you guys have elastics? At least wrap the poster. Oh, yeah, we can get you elastics. It's like, and I'll tell you right now, it didn't rain on Wednesday, but it was really, really muggy and hot. It was, for this area.
Yeah, it's August.
But for us, we get muggy days here. Maybe we get, 2 or 3, maybe twice or sometimes 3 times a year, like 90 degrees and up. But it's the humidity that kills us up here when we get hit. When we get hit, nobody's used to it. So we get, ugh. So anyways, it was really humid and hot. But then it kind of shadowed out, so we're kind of lucky in a way. It could have been a lot worse, but anyways, that was good. So by the time we got in line, there was no bags left. So if you want stuff and you need a bag, you better get there soon and quick up in the merch because the bags disappear.
Yeah, there's only 2 free things you get at a Kiss show. Well, it's not free because you got to buy merch. You'll get a free bag if you buy merch, and in the stadium you'll get a free balloon if you manage to kill someone.
Yeah, well, the thing is, the bags, too, you really have to ask, because I've been asking, you did before. Hey, can I get a bag? And they just look at you sometimes. You know, the bags used to be sitting like on the counter. You know what I mean? When you used to buy the merch, you could usually sometimes like scoop one if you needed a bag. But now the bags are not even around. They got them behind the counter. You know what I mean? Somebody must have been just grabbing, you know, tons and tons of them. They, of course, you know, they end up eBay or auctions online. You know, Facebook auctions. So, anyways, but so that was that. So after we walked around, of course, take a million pictures with people.
What did you purchase? You got the poster. You got the keychain. Was it the next night that you got more stuff?
Yeah, in Maine, Kim got, she bought which I'm very surprised, which I was surprised. She wanted, it was like a colorful shirt, more colorful one. And
yeah, those I've seen. Those are neat.
She wanted the long sleeve one. She actually shouldn't have watched. I asked because I'd show up, but she went home and she's, I know it's weird. She likes to wash this thing right away. So anyway, she got the long shirt, you know, and after that, I'm like, how much was that thing?
Yeah, it's like, always never ask that with Kiss stuff. How much was that? That's just you never ask. You got the tour book. You've been through it. Have there been any major differences that you've noted in there? I know the credits change, and that's no big deal unless you're in the credits when it is a big deal. But elsewhere in the book, anything of note?
No, that's why I went through this. People kept asking me online, and I was like, I wasn't home and I wasn't around, and I don't have, I didn't have version 5 on me on the road when I got version 6. But after Kim and I got home yesterday, we came home a little bit early because just wanted to get home. This is me driving, and I'll explain. Let's put it this way. There's a lot of rain that came up after, I think, Friday into Friday. Oh, my God, it was bad. Monsoon weather here with the rain. You guys need the rain, and we don't need the rain here.
Yeah, we would like it very much on the West Coast, please.
So when we went through the tour book, this is the only change in the whole tour book. So if everybody's looking for major changes in the tour book, if you get your hands on one, or if you just want every little thing, that's the only change, people, right there.
Yeah, including that paragraph. What it does, so we don't have to try and put up 2 tour books at once, is it gets rid of the July 17th or whatever the July date was as the final Kiss show ever. Now, I find that very interesting that it stops at 22. So that kind of suggests to me that they are going to try and condense everything. And come on, look at these guys' ages and also the vagaries of being on the road and all the other things that go with that, along with not wanting to drag it out forever so it becomes a share tour. And I know there's a bunch of people shouting right now, but they've been saying farewell since 2000, whatever, dude. So 23 is not on that paragraph, so fingers crossed that they're able to complete all the places that they want to visit, such as Australia, and that's the only poster I have, and that's for one of the previously canceled tour runs down there. Phil Cass sent me a copy, which is really kind of him, but I can't really do much with it now since it never happened, that tour. So hopefully they get to do all those dates, because I know they're planning Europe next year. They've got Australia still to do, and that's been bumped next year, I believe, though I don't recall seeing an official note on that. And then they've got to get through this leg of the tour, South America as well. So a lot of work still to be done in a very short period of time. So hopefully there is a V7 that says 23 on there.
Yeah, I mean, what do you really want it to end in a ways? I know it's got to end at some point, and I want it to end on their terms rather than to have one of them like Brad Whitford, coming out and saying, I think Aerosmith may have played its last show out, that sort of thing. I don't want it to end because one of them passes because of COVID or getting ill on the road or for any other health reasons, that not leaving them time to enjoy life and their lives away from us and giving a damn about making us happy, and just let the business run and go where it's going. So yeah, it's got to end, and I just want it to end on their terms, because the fans, some will be happy, some don't care, some will never be happy. So they've got to make themselves, if not happy, at least satisfied with how it is brought to a conclusion. And I hope they're thinking of ways, because we just don't know what's going to go on with Delta, Epsilon, Lambda, Lambda, Mu. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. It hasn't. I posted even the other day. Tomorrow, basically, technically, if it happens, we can get into that. If it happens tomorrow would be the last show in the New England period area, and it hasn't really hit me that it's over. If I always say that it's over, but something's gonna come back. You know what I mean? for me, it's like it's not over. I don't think it's weird. It's really not going to be over in my head until I don't see that, until it's put away. You know what I mean? I always think they're going to come back at some point, do something, but I don't know. I like you said, they want to have their own lives. They're not, they're not spring chickens anymore. So, that brings me back to this whole wearing a costume thing too, man. Now, I don't know how technically long they wear one every night. I know because they get ready and all this, and then they do meet and greets or whatever they do, and then they stuff. So what are they? And then they get up on the stage and they're wearing this stuff, and then when they get off the stage, I don't know. So some parts I don't know how long they're wearing the costumes. Especially the boots. All right. Now I wear them when I do it. I'm in a parking lot, an hour and a half, 2 hours, depending on what times it opened, floating around, taking pictures, and then depending on the weather, and then you're in the arena or outside the arena, and then after the arena hanging out. Man, I'll tell you, and I'm 52, I don't mind it. It's okay. But I'm telling you, I bet you everybody else, all the other guys who do this kind of stuff or anybody does this stuff, I'm telling you, they'll tell you the same thing, man. Unless you walked in their shoes, man, you shouldn't be bitching, man, because I'll tell you, man, after a while, your feet kill you. I don't care. After a while, your feet are not made to walk like that. It's a special unique walk. You have to kind of pick up your feet more. You got to walk. You got to make sure you don't trip. You got to make sure somebody doesn't actually hit you by mistake. So, and being underneath all those lights and the gigs and stuff, and let's face it, Gene's got the most stuff on, even though it might be lighter material now, but, it's still toll on those guys, man.
Come on. It is still effort. And, I was watching some video from Mansfield, from the pit, and Tommy, it was on that side, and Tommy is absolutely drenched. I mean, number one, it's outdoor summertime, and it is humid, but it is a job, and it is, it takes effort for all of them. You look at Paul working, he comes over at one point, you see the sweat glistening on his upper arm, these guys, it's easy to project. Oh, it's easy, or, I could do that. I have no clue, and meeting people. I know that part is tough because I've done that, just on a very small scale with, doing book signings and doing expo stuff. And that is a grind. It is hard work. The process of what they go through, as well as being on the road, which, I'm on the road for a week and I'm just, traveling around, driving and running up libraries and doing all that. I get tired doing that. And Paul Stanley's fit as hell. Paul Stanley is super fit.
I mean, it is. I mean, and personally, man, we don't know what their health issues is, if they even have any. They might not, or they might. They might have health. We know Paul's been through knee surgeries, hip surgeries, this surgery. We don't know what Gene or Eric or even Tommy has.
Oh, he was having problems with his arches of his feet. I mean, come on, look at those sneakers that he wears all the time. It doesn't look like his feet are the happiest creatures on earth. And again, we don't know. It's none of our business. I don't want to know what's wrong with them. I just want them to be healthy and happy. I want Paul to be able to take his 25-mile bike rides and not have to worry about whatever next meet and greet's coming up. Yeah, I'm sure the money's really nice, but at some point, it's got to be the bike ride is more valuable than selling another guitar or meeting another person. I want to talk about the show. One last thing before we get inside the show is just as a matter of curiosity, and everyone don't freak out because this is a COVID question. What were the sort of protocols in place for safety? Were there any whatsoever, or was it all kind of honor system, hoping that you've done the right thing for you and your community?
Yeah, do what you want, basically. There were people there who had masks on their face, and most people didn't. And that's it. There was nothing. It was, just like regular.
Yeah, and I'm only asking that not as any point of judgment whatsoever, because we don't do that on this show. But I think that people, if they are going to be attending the tours, know that you are in control of yourself only, and to do what's right for you. And try and think about your community. I mean, for fuck's sake, you're part of something bigger than yourself. But it is in your hands, from what Andy's described.
Yeah. So once we get to the seats, and I always tell everybody, because everybody's like, oh, cool. And then I always tell the people around me, if you can't see, because I'm tall anyways, but then when I put on the boots, it just makes it
I
Way
would
worse
never
than
want to be behind you at a show.
Yeah. But I've always tell everybody before the show starts, if you can't see nothing, I can move to the left or right. If not, I can take off the boots, and I do. So it makes everybody all happy. I always tell everybody. So the other night, it was fun. It was weird because I was standing there, I had the boots on because I told everybody, and everybody's like, "Okay, no problem." And I just let me know, and nobody said anything. And then finally, this guy behind me, kind of two guys behind me, "Hey, buddy, you didn't mind taking off those things for a while, at least a couple songs, would you, man?" He's like, "I'm 6'2" and I can't even see." And I'm like, "Dude, why don't you just tell me earlier?" And he goes, "Yeah, I know. I just felt." I said, "Okay, no problem." So I just zipped them in, and I was in my socks. So I didn't care. I could still see. I was all happy. The guy was all happy. And then all of a sudden, it's funny. I'm like, okay, it's going to get dark. It's getting later. And they're getting ready to do Beth. I'm like, I'm sliding them on. And I kind of like crouched over a little bit. And of course, Do You Love Me comes on. Perfect time. Put the boots back on. Do You Love Me starts coming on. Blah, blah, blah. The balloons are floating around. I just put back on the shoes. Guess what? Here comes one. Thank you. Grabbed it. Here you go, Kim. Paul's here you go. Just like that. It's funny. And like a couple of people that our friends were right near, and they were trying to grab an L, and they couldn't reach them and stuff like that. I just like, oh, thank you, And then some guy, like the fifth guy over from there, was like I don't know what the guy was on or something, like all mad because I actually scooped the balloon instead of hitting it up in the more in the air or something again. Yeah, okay, sure.
Someone did that to me. I actually had my finger on the balloon when it came down, and someone whacked it. I was like, what the heck? I'm like, I'm not going to grab it anyway. And then there was the other one that I kind of got, and I'd broken one of my nails deliberately. I popped the freaking thing, and it flew off. I was like, oh, great. Not even going to get the balloon carcass.
Yeah, no, that's funny. So that was fun. So anyways, as for the set list thing and the crowd response and stuff, I have to say, because it's the first night of this new tour, the fans were really into it. So I could compare the loudness and the fans between night one and night two. So you got Mansfield versus Bangor because of the two in a row. Mansfield's much louder, and they were both outside, but Mansfield has like the metal cover thing, and yep. This Bangor, as they say it, I don't know how they say it. It's Bangor, but most Bangor or whatever the hell they say, is wide open. So in that way. But I did notice that the band, it's not me, and it's not because I'm losing more of my hearing. It's turned down. It drives me nuts. I'm like, why is it turned down? What's going on? It's killing me.
You know what I mean? Poor Ace wouldn't be able to hear it, would he?
No, no, probably not, because when it's weird, right? Before we used to turn around. If somebody said something to you, like next to you, right? You're with somebody, like, hey, you need, whatever. You turn around and you say, you remember those days? You'd be like, what? I can't hear you. You know what I mean? You got to, like, really
Holy shit, you're absolutely right, actually. Because even at recent shows that I've been to for Kiss, you've been able to have conversations, we've been chatting with security guards. Or, when, having the blood cup confiscated from Ken, you're able to clearly hear the person, Wow.
I don't understand why they've turned it down. What's the deal with turning it down? I don't really understand it. What's the deal? But the bass, Gene's bass on in Mansfield was like really heavy. You could hear it really good. I like that. It sounded good. But the guitar, when Tommy's like playing the solo stuff, it's like turned down. I don't understand that part of it.
Wow, clearly not mixed by Night Bob.
The what?
Night Bob, sound engineer, the best in the industry. You wouldn't have that issue.
Yeah, I just don't know. I don't know. People say, because it's an outside venue, the rebound and the bounce.
Yeah, there are a lot of issues with outside, especially those with canopies or shelves over the stage. Sound is a problem. There is also local ordinances and sound controls where they do have to take some off to not, violate rules. I have no idea what Mansfield is, no clue. I'm just guessing to a certain extent. But also outdoors, and then atmosphere does affect it, of course, if it's really humid.
Yeah, 11 o'clock is in Mansfield. It's like 10:30, I think it was somebody said in Bangor, or 10:45 or something like that. Usually it's probably around the same. So the crowd was, was interesting because the songs, I was listening, basically it's the same songs. I know people are like, oh my God, yes, personally myself, I wish they would mix it up a little bit more. It's been a year and a half. They had a lot of time.
Well, Mansfield was mixed up because it was pretty much the same songs as on the last tour, minus Parasite, so one less song in total, 20-song set. They juggled the order. And I've got the set here because, we were waiting for reports to come in. They put Deuce right at the ass end of the show. And I was like, WTF, what on earth are they doing putting Deuce all the way there? That completely destroyed my sense of harmony. One other change, and again, you could speak to all of those kinds of elements, was Psycho Circus ends dead stop. It's kind of truncated, and Eric goes in his drum solo, and then they come back into 100,000 Years. So 2 songs are a little bit shortened, which 100,000 Years being shortened is a bit of a blessing. I mean, just like Lick It Up, has a tendency to drag and drag and drag. So it's that's the weirdest part of the set for me. Psycho, drum solo, 100,000 Years. I need to rewatch that again to get a little better feel for it. But what other kind of things were there from your perspective, from someone who was actually there? Sorry for talking about the show that I didn't attend.
Because I thought it was the first time I've ever seen it is Gene actually has a goblet now full of kerosene or whatever he does to do the fire.
He should have done that so long ago. I'm like, thank goodness he's finally doing that. Is so cool. From the Hotter Than Hell photo shoot.
Oh, so it's like it's sitting next to the, where the water would be, picks it up, shows everybody, takes the swig, and then grabs the thing and then does it.
$8,000.
Huh?
I don't know. I don't know. It's probably something for sale. So good on him at finding yet another thing he can sell to a willing customer. Because again, no one is forced to buy it, and they're pretty cool.
Yeah, I just turned around and looked at him. He must be selling these. And
Come on, he was selling the plastic ones. I mean, if you could sell the plastic ones, you might as well make it nice and add a few zeros on.
Yeah, I don't know if they're plastic or whatever they are, but anyways, it's just like a gauntlet. He just takes that, and I thought it was pretty cool. The only thing I think is weird about, even Kim said it too, he does the fire. He does the fire after I Love It Loud. Doesn't do it. I wish he'd move it. Put it after War Machine. At least you got that whole kind of thing. I don't know.
Why not weird. After Heaven's on Fire if you want to move it anywhere? The song about fire,
Well, that's Paul's song, so I don't think he maybe doesn't like the idea it's going to steal my fire.
Well, you can come out like Godzilla and blow fire at Paul to get him off the stage,
But it was interesting to see people react to songs, right? Because it was a big mixture of people, from kids all the way to, older people. You know what I mean? So it was a good mix of people there, and it was interesting seeing people what they kind of liked, or maybe just kind of like, okay, you know what I mean? As we all know, Say Yeah. There were actually people. Yeah, as soon as that song comes on, you can see some people. Oh, I'm going to get a beer. I'm going to go get popcorn. Yeah, I'm serious. You could see it because we weren't down low, but we were like in the middle. And as soon as that song comes on, you can see the people just start walking through the aisles, start moving.
Yeah, that one needs to be turned into Strut or Stat.
Or anything off the first 3 albums. I'm gold. I don't care what it is at that point. So that's just my personal take. So, but it was interesting. Tears Are Falling got a really good response, which I was very surprised at a little bit more. I figured like Heaven's on Fire would have got more of a cheer, like more of a cheer thing, but people seem to really like.
It's our age group, whether you're casual, whether you're a fan. That was on MTV so much in 1985, 86, 87. I mean, that was on an awful lot. So I'd like to think, just because, again, that's the song that made me a fan, so I have an emotional connection to that one that is completely unhinged and unbalanced. I like to think that everyone who is watching MTV at that point at least remembers that, and all those casuals who are getting off the sofa to go see a concert, who aren't necessarily Kiss fans hanging out on forums or Facebook, are remembering that one, which explains why it's also, come on, at the base of it, for me, it's a really good song.
Yeah, I mean, but it's just interesting looking at the crowd reaction after this. Like, they played "Lick It Up." People were into "Lick It Up" because they heard "Lick It Up" 8 million times on the radio. Because that's one of the, the other big things. And to this day, as much as some of us people are like, oh my God, no, no. But when I Was Made for Loving You, that's the play. I don't care. You look around in that crowd. Not everybody.
It gets a good response every single time.
From little kids to all the way up to 100 years old, they are singing. It's interesting seeing, even the guys you think that wouldn't be dancing and going, yeah. Ooh.
Come on, it's got one thing going for it that makes it undefeatable, and that is the beat. That beat, that disco beat, the thing that got people shaking their booties in the disco halls, the disco rock vibe of it, it does the same thing. Paul was absolutely right in saying that this was a calculated song. He took what he thought was the key element for the discos and put a rock song around it, and it gets people moving their asses and swaying along in the audience every single time. Yeah, and I still hate the song.
And then like you said, Deuce was put at the end, because at first for a while there, I'm like, man, they're not even playing Deuce anymore. I'm like, come on.
I would have been pissed. Deuce. I would have been sitting there going, they're not playing Deuce. I would have been having a toddler temper tantrum because that's my go-to song. And for it to fall all the way down there, we would have finally gotten to that song if I'd been there, and I would have been more relieved than able to enjoy it.
Yeah. So, and you should see the crowd reaction for Deuce is still really good, and you could tell the age group when Deuce came on, you could tell like kind of the older hardcore. Well, like, yeah, it's about time, something older. Kim's a little upset they don't play "Let Me Go Rock and Roll." That's like her favorite Kiss song of all time. And then some people ask me, oh my God, are they gonna play 100,000 Years? And then all of a sudden they do that little skit into it, and they're like, that's it. And I'm like, well, you didn't have Paul screaming, and that's another thing. Talking about Paul and the screaming thing. Yeah, hey, do it out there. The Paul doing a hand thing with the hair thing. Even Kim said it too. Why? I don't understand. Paul doesn't need to yell in the microphone. I don't understand why. I don't know if it's something that it's in his head that, oh my God, I got to do some things from the past, that people remember. So I got to try to, like yelling in the microphone and stuff. I don't think
he's done things for so long. I think to a certain extent there's an element of autopilot, an element of he's up there and he's reading the audience, so he always knows those cues. Have historically gotten the crowd moving. I mean, he learned his trade on stage on how to get the audience moving, of how to get them responding, and I think it just remains ingrained. So, it's just part of his DNA at this point, and no, he doesn't need to, and he probably ought not to, but you know what? You can't make the guy stop doing what is just so naturally inherent to him at this point.
Yeah. Well, the reason why I say that is just to save his voice for later on, and I'll explain. Get it to night 2 quick when we do, and unless you want me to do kind of both.
Yeah,
at the same time.
And tell Kim, Kim, I'm sorry, but "Let Me Go Rock and Roll" was last performed December the 19th, 2019, during his 99th performance. So at least during this tour, how many are we up to? They've rotated 25 songs in and out. Strutter's had the single one and probably shouldn't be counted. Parasite, I'm a bit bummed, has been dropped, after only 22 performances. That last performance was. But you know what? The set, the first night was really weird in how it was structured. And, that's about, we kind of laughed about it again, that the only shake-up you're going to get to a Kiss set is when they move the songs around in order. And that literally is what it was. There was nothing particularly surprising about it, but why would they be when it's the end of the road tour and they want it to be a similar experience, for the vast majority of people who aren't attending multiple shows. Again, we're the outliers. We go to multiple shows. We follow the sets. We go on the FAQ or KissConcertHistory.com or Setlist FM to find out, we're sitting there hitting refresh to find out what's being performed. We're the dorks who care about that stuff. The vast majority of 15,000 people in the audience are just there for that moment. My monologue's done. You please continue.
It is what it is, right? You just gotta. I told people, man, you just go for the spirit of it at this point. Go for the, have fun with your friends if you're going with friends or whatever. Meet up with people. You meet up with old friends, maybe from the cruises or online and stuff like that. I mean, yeah, you go to just enjoy the moment, right? Because these, as they say, man, they've been almost out for 50 years. How many bands can say that? There's not many.
It's always a gathering of the tribe. It's the congregation at the electric church. Everyone is coming back together again, especially now, to partake of electric communion. And yeah, there's people like saying you're going to hell for saying that, but it is. It's a very special thing. Especially now, there are people who are not with us to come back to these shows. It becomes more important. I want to ask you. We haven't talked about the stage. That changed as well. That they've kind of replaced the back line. There's a little bit more of a low wall of amps and lights going across. Did it seem that there was as much pyro as on previous legs of the tour? How was the lighting? And I did want just to finish up the last part where you're talking about the songs. What was the song that got the best response from your perspective?
From the whole night, it's got to be, of course, Rock and Roll Night is like the ultimate, and that. The Rock and Roll Night, as soon as it comes out, it said it's everybody going nuts because they know it's actually the end. But for a song just being played in the middle and stuff like that, you got to say I Was Made for Loving You is still like up there top, because Detroit Rock City gets a lot of, because it all bang, when they first come out, that's the thing, so so basically when it comes out down to it, in the middle of all of that stuff is I Was Made for Loving You. It's seriously, but you take it what it is, but it's
Say Yeah is still the worst.
And Say Yeah,
or let's not say worst because that sounds so negative. The least favorite.
The least people's favorite seems to be people just saying. Some people are like, what is this song? People that don't even. But it is. As we say, we keep saying about it is what it is. We went. We had fun, even though I had a mask on my face, plastic. We had fun. We got confetti. We got streamers. Kim got a purple. Geez. A Paul Stanley balloon. It's all good. We had a blast. It was worth my money to go see a band I've loved since I've been 5. The end of that story. Because
it's not the end because you didn't answer the part about lights, or at least it didn't register to me. How was the lighting and the pyro?
I thought the lights and the pyro were fine. I mean, I don't think they didn't use all those. What did they have? Like 12? Was it 12 or 9? The things.
11, I believe. 4, 3 of the for the ones being lowered. So
yeah, it's tough because Mansfield's sort of big. It holds 19,000, but the stage is only so big, and they only had I think 8, so they only had 8 of the pods. But I thought it was fine. For what it is, they didn't have the lifts. I forgot. Yeah, they didn't have those lift things that.
No cherry pickers or the Motley Crue arms that we can never forget that they're annoyed that Gene and crew use them. So those just won't fit into. They're not logistically possible. They still had the risers at the end, so the elevated towers that go up. So they had the pods. They have a differently designed back line. Eric's drums went up during his solo, right?
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, the drums went up during the solo, and I can't remember, I can't remember the stuff from February of 2020. How his whole drum solo. I think it's much shorter. If I'm right, I think it's shorter.
It's a hell of a lot shorter.
And that, to be honest, stuff, but do they really need the solos? I know they do this theatrical thing, but do they really need the solos?
Well, actually, that's the point. During yeah, it is Cold Gin, where he was doing the rockets previously. Did he continue to shoot down the pods and get the effect of those? So
Yeah.
all the kind of elements in the show are still present?
Yes. Yeah. Go one side, rocket, shoot, pod, saucer, go down a little bit, vice versa. But it just seems to be like, granted, there are kids in the audience, but it's not like all like little kids are like going, oh my God, look at that. That's so cool. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? It seems to be a little bit sluggish to me. Sluggish. I don't know. Just, and I have nothing against Tommy. Just seem to be sluggish. You're playing and then the rocket shoots at the thing. Okay, now I'm going to walk across the stage, go to the other side of the rocket and shoot a little bit. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe I'm just past the point of whatever now.
Really?
Yeah. To me, it seemed that way. But and of course, Eric's doing the drum thing. Doing the thing with his feet, and he's doing the, wiping the thing and showing people unfolding the towel and then put it down. But I gotta say, like 95% sure that his drum solo is cut back, way back.
It is. I still got to go back and compare everything. There are little bits and pieces. I mean, I already know areas where the tape is in play. There's all that sort of shit going on. Big deal. But it's a show. People go to Hamilton repeatedly, or to Cats, or to other things, and that's what it is. So no doubt it's going to get sluggish.
Yeah, you got to go, celebrate too, what I said, with friends, stuff like that. So, I just went to go and enjoy it because I know, like you said, this is not going to last forever. We keep repeating it, but you got to get through people's head. You got to just enjoy it. And the people who complain about, oh my God, it might be back tapes and this and that, well, all right, if there is back tapes, there is. Yes, they complained back in the 80s, whatever, all people should only, do what they're going to, if you're not going to sing it, then don't even play it. Well, it is, what are you going to do, man?
So did you catch David Garibaldi's painting set? Because he, of course, replaced David Lee Roth and all that drums going on. Did you get to see him at either of the shows?
The first night, Mansfield, no. Because too busy taking photos, doing all that kind of stuff. So, no. Could hear him, but because we're kind of on the side, but no. Didn't see him. Night 2 we did. So, again, night 1, I got to give it to the guys though. It's been now a year and a half or so. I got to give it to them. They looked tight. It sounded really pretty good. There might have been a glitch here and there, but nothing like super major out of the way. I think everything all went off in a tee, and everybody had a great time, an awesome time, or a wicked awesome time.
Yeah, you got to say it right, man. Wicked awesome time.
Wicked awesome. So. I look at it that way, and leaving the arena, people leaving are all happy, cheery, whatever they're doing, and I don't see a bunch of people going out and going, oh, well, man, that sucked. Well, that was a waste of my money. Didn't hear nothing about that. You know what I mean? People complained about was the painter. They're like, what the frick is this? Because people are like, there's a painter?
Yeah.
Some people are just there to there. It might be their first. There were some people like, oh, this is my first Kiss show. So it's kind of neat in that way, So that was that way. So anyway,
yeah, and they know that David Garibaldi is not going to appeal to everyone. It's something different and unusual. And again, I do recommend people check him out. I still want to kick back and actually see him do his full thing because I've missed out on most of the opening acts during this tour because of doing other stuff before the shows as well. So is what it is.
Yeah. So we'll go up to Maine now. So we get up on Wednesday. So we got up on Thursday, and we were gonna go up to Maine because Kim's son lives halfway to Bangor. So we decided just to stay home. We get up the next morning, Thursday, and we head up in the morning, and it's a monsoon here. It's raining, pouring rain from here, New Hampshire. We kept going and going. We got to son's place. I'm like, the sun's popping out, but it's hot and humid, and the forecast saying by the time the band comes on, it's going to be raining. So we're like, oh boy, so let's get some ponchos. We weren't really expecting to go to the show in the first place. So they had that deal where you could get tickets for like $20, like total. Like that's what the tax is. You paid the extra dollar to get, because there's 4 of us. So pay the extra dollar to get a solid tickets, and this virtual crap ticket sucks things, So I wanted a real ticket, so, whatever. So it basically was $21, and we're way back in the lawn, the general Michelin lawn area. And so we were waiting. Of course, there was no way I was going to attempt to put on a suit knowing that it's going to be a monsoon at some point in the night. No way. The top half of the costume would survive this and that, but the boots, forget it. So I said, nope, forget it. So I just kind of painted my face, the black with the silver, and didn't put on the white, just for that fun. So anyways, we go there, we get there. They've updated that place. It's much, much bigger because it only held about 8,000 at one point. Now it holds 15,000, and they made the place much bigger. They amped the walls on the side. They put all kinds of noise things for the thing. They built the hills. It's all so the people in the back of the GA can see. And it rained. We put pictures up. It rained. So, and if you noticed that you're happy about it, I was happy about it too. They moved Deuce. They moved Deuce from being way down the bottom of the line to the second song in the set list. Thank you.
Third.
Sorry.
Yeah,
sorry.
No, it's back where it belongs, where it was, where it should be, and where Julian approves. So good job, Kiss.
Yeah. I do. It should be up there because it just got that way, going into Detroit and then it do. So So the crowd was louder in Mansfield than Bangor, but I don't know if it's because of the acoustic things too. Like it's so wide open in Maine. There's no coverage at all for anybody except for the band. And I bet you the band even got soaked. Well, one guy got soaked for sure.
Yeah, so I think the report came in that there was about 10,000 in Bangor, or Bangor, or however the hell. Yeah, I'm not doing it.
Yeah. Well, I guess they call it Bangor, but most people say Bangor. It's weird. I don't know. Whatever. I actually grabbed Kim, but she hates. Kim won't go on a podcast now. Somebody blew it for her and got upset, and so she will. I don't think she'll ever see her on a podcast ever again. So, anyways, I didn't think Paul would come out. None of us did think Paul would come out for "Do You Love Me?" and "I Was Made for Loving You" because we didn't see the the metal transport track. So next Paul's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna come out and see you," and he's like, and I'm like, "He ain't gonna come out here." And next, man, it starts pouring. As soon as he starts, and it's like weird. It's just like on time, and all of a sudden, he claps on. "I'm coming out to see you." Starts swinging on. I'm like, "How the hell is it?" Oh, they didn't set up the whole metal thing. They just set up like a rope thing, like ropes. It wasn't even like that metal. So he comes out there and he starts and he's getting soaked. So Paul's out there. I put a video up on my. That video went everywhere. People went crazy sharing that one. But yeah, Paul stood out in the rain with the rest of everybody else getting soaked. It was pretty cool.
Paul Stanley will go out on a rope during a storm for his audience at this stage of his life and career. How can I forget the hate? How can you not respect that? I mean, he's awesome.
Yeah, and I'm telling you. You can see from my video how much it's raining. I mean, it's not like a monsoon rain, but it's rained pretty good. And I don't know. He didn't have a guitar, so he's singing without a guitar at first, and then all of a sudden he got a guitar, and he's playing it. But I'm thinking to myself, man, is he really playing a guitar out there in the rain like that?
Yeah, I would have thought that there might have been risk of electrical, and it may have just been a dummy. But it doesn't matter either way. He's out there. Is he? Well.
That's one expensive dummy, right? Because it's sparkly and all that stuff. One of those fancy ones. So I'm like, wow, but still, you got to give Paul credit, man. That was awesome. That was definitely one of the coolest things I've seen in a long time happen for something like this. Because I didn't think no way. I said, there's no way he's coming out. He did. Went out there, sang it, did it all. It was was great, man. It was awesome.
Yeah,
That
they
was
won't
different.
they won't let the show suffer unless there's absolutely no chance, and there will be situations where they just can't do it if it's windy and whatnot. But again, like you said, respect to him for doing that. So the set was pretty much back to normal. Did you?
Got
I
a bag.
guess. Oh, you got
We
your
got a
bag.
bag.
Yeah, is it
We
still full of Maine water?
No, because it had everything else in it, But it was funny is that, well, it up there, like you go into the lawn area, whatever they call it, either hill lawn or regular, or you go up to they have the metal gates there where you could stand there and you can watch too or wherever. Up there in Maine, man, when you were in the area, because I had never been like in a GA like that, up way in the back, but I've seen Kiss up front, in the middle, left, right, you name it. I've been everywhere. I'm all good. I'm just happy. I'm excited. I'm just thrilled to go now that I'm able to see a band I love since 5, and I'm still able to see them at 52. So the way I'm looking at it now, I don't care. I'm just going to have fun. I don't care if it's pouring rain or hotter than hell. I'm just going to have fun now. Take pictures. Let's have some fun and all this stuff. But it's funny, man. They let us in, and you're like in a corral, right? You can't get anywhere else except for this GA area. So it was kind of good in that part because there's only X amount of people in the GA area, so you can get up to the concessions, the merch stand a little bit quicker than normal, because there's only so many people in the GA area, But yeah, this, the shirts. Kim got a shirt that was long sleeve. I think it says Kiss End of the Road on both sides of the sleeves. You guys with colorful in the front, and it's got all the tour dates on the back. And I think it was like $75. Kim, no. But she said she wanted a long sleeve shirt, and I'm like, hey, okay, it's all good. So it is what it is. But we had we had to. If you know me and you know my thing, I put pictures up on us of the line getting soaked. They're her son, daughter-in-law. They have all their ponchos on. They get, even in like the Kiss colors, they had the purple, the green, and they're like taking pictures of them. They're all like cuddle, It was fun, And then you get some obnoxious people that are like drunken and skunk. It's gonna happen. Don't matter. You can stand or sit GA, or you could be down in the pit, or you could be, anywhere, and you're gonna get some people who are like a little extra, juiced it up. You know what I mean? But hey, that's what they want to do. That's what they want to do. So, but it was funny. It was just. It's just so funny, some of the pictures, because here I ain't got the makeup on my face. Now I have the makeup on my face, like I said. And it was kind of funny. I thought it would like come down more, and it didn't. It was kind of weird, but I don't know. I had fun. We had fun, and then after the show, we kind of hung around a little bit. But the only thing that stuck there is that we were in the GA area, so there's no confetti way in the back there. So as we're walking back to the car and stuff, we're like, and of course it's been raining, pouring up, and we're like, hey, look, Kim, you got to grab some Bangor, Maine confetti. So we got like 6 pieces that weren't too wet and grab them. You know what I mean?
Well, at least being flame resistant, the dye is not going to leak, so it won't become just pink confetti. Tonight's show is in Atlantic City. You're not going to that. That would be the smallest venue on this leg of the tour. I think just 7,000 for that. I don't remember if David is performing at that one before or not. Probably. But and then of course Hartford is questionable for tomorrow with the storm coming in. Keep an eye on the weather reports for everyone, because again that is an outdoor venue, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. People ask, how come you're not going to go to Atlantic City? Well, you can get anywhere in the car. It doesn't matter on fly. But Atlantic City down that way, I've done it a couple times. I saw Kiss at the Trump, that Trump Plaza place when they did those kind of things. It's a good 6 to 7 hour ride without the traffic, and from Mass going through New York, New Jersey that way. If there's a lot of traffic, it's going to be problems. Now, it's the world, most of probably world knows, is that there's a hurricane what are the odds? There's a hurricane decided to hit New England, which is kind of even more strange because it doesn't happen that many times. And the storm is going to hit, supposedly it looks like, as they said, like I said a couple hours ago, it's going to hit dead center of Hartford, Connecticut. So that's the show we're supposed to be going to tomorrow. We're in the GA on that one with another friend, Lisa. Hi, Lisa. Say hi, Lisa, Jill. So we're going down to that one, and well, maybe. So I don't know. So, but when I call the Xfinity Center, do I believe them? Like, didn't tell me the right information about masks, so I don't know. Are you going to say
Yeah. Whatever the case is, I hope they make the call, the decision, and everything before anyone hits the road. I mean, it's just going to suck if anyone's traveling in from distance. That's why I won't travel for this tour. I'm just going to the one show, hopefully in Mountain View, and then going to the residency in December. And I'm more than happy with my lot on that. Again, the events, I don't know what's going to go on with the event. I haven't seen any good reports about the meet and greets yet, especially the acoustic set, or whatever set that they're doing, the little private thing in place of the meet and greet. I think that's a great idea for them to have substituted something. I'm certainly down with that. Enjoyed the one I went to, I think, in 2017 in Reno, and they're doing it on stage now, so... that is good. The meet and greet, the photos in front of Plexiglass, again, it is what it is. I would have preferred... I don't like the idea of it, but, I've already paid for it, so I don't have a choice. It's what they have. I would prefer that they did it in front of the stage somehow, and the guys are up on stage so I could get a selfie-type shot, because I just don't... I've tried that once during a show. I would love to have a selfie with the four of them just pointing down at me, from a socially safe distance, but maybe there's logistics, or they don't want to wear boots, or they might fall off the stage. I don't want that to happen. Or maybe it's just too much of a pain in the ass, and a plexiglass cage is, keeping the talisman safe.
Yeah, I mean, I like I said, yesterday we got home, I was just too tired, putting stuff away, doing it. So I haven't really looked at a lot of that stuff, but, again, if you don't want to do it, then don't buy it. But I mean, I don't know if people have bought them and you're kind of stuck. You can't return them. I don't know.
Yeah, it is non-refundable unless the show is canceled. And when the last show was canceled, the refund was prompt, with no hassle, and all of that, which is why I was confident enough to go for it again as a replacement. I did want to get one last photo, and then of course Vegas gets announced, so now it's just one more last photo. Again, people probably shake their head. Other people say, yeah, right on. And other people, it doesn't matter. It's all down to personal preference. I did see photos of one of the Gene-based meet and greets. Now, in person, it was masked, and probably hand sanitizer and all of that beforehand. And then the socially distanced photo was the funniest thing I've ever seen. And he was standing like 12, 15 feet behind the people. No masks now for that, obviously, but you want to increase the distance for safety. So it was almost like he was photobombing, holding the base that they'd purchased. So again, it's making the most of the situation for what works for them. And I guess it's not going to work for everyone. And it's a weird time. And again, you've seen some of the reports from Gene talking, flapping his lips, about the situation. But again, at the root of it, I don't want to see the band get sick. I don't want to see them, I'm sure they're all vaccinated, but, they can still get sick, and you just don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah. The thing is, too, is that, these guys didn't want this stuff to happen. They don't want it. I would imagine they would want, like, the regular meet and greets. It is what it is. So, if it's a non-refundable, I wouldn't be ecstatic about it, but it is, like you said, it is what it is. But if you're a person who's going into this now, buying a meet and greet, say, oh man, I'm going to Connecticut, or the next show, not being Connecticut, anywhere. Pick a place and say, hey man, I want to do a meet and greet, and then turn around and bitch about it because it's a social distancing behind plexiglass. Then why'd you buy it? Now you know what's going to happen. They already told you what's going to happen. Then don't buy it.
Yeah, and I think when this leg went on sale as well, we were still in COVID, so we all knew that there were possibilities that things weren't going to be quite as advertised. But it's a matter of what KISS does as well from a business perspective. Doing the live, sound check type things is great. That's a great switcheroo of here, we're doing something different, we're going out of the way. I'd still like to see them handing out a set of picks to everyone, stuff like that. Just the little extra, a handful of picks to people. Here's your 4 members of the band, so you don't have to worry about trying to catch one during the show, especially if you're not sitting because you paid the premium. But what they are doing is, I think the very best under the circumstances. I don't have criticism. I have alternatives that are based on personal taste and ideas that I have in my head. That's all they are. They're not criticisms of what they're doing. I acknowledge that they are doing something different and doing the very best that they can, but they also have to keep the band safe, the crew safe, the local staff safe, and they don't want their audience dying from seeing them either, or getting sick, because they know that they have no control over if that person in the audience is sick and come to the show anyway, or not that's all out of everyone's control. So that's all anyone can do in this life, the very best they can.
Yeah. Now you just brought up a good point, and I even mentioned it to Kim and the other people.
I don't get why, with all this craziness stuff going on and stuff, why is Paul sticking the guitar
Picks in his mouth and spitting them out at people.
I don't get it. Stop, Paul. Why do you doing that, especially
Now, I get it, it's funny,
at a different point in life?
or before all this stuff might be funny. DNA on it is a joke for us, but
Now? Why would you be doing that now? I don't think that's really... I'm not a prude or nothing,
man, I think it's hilarious in ways, but
why now? I don't think it's really a great idea to do it. Just as a precaution nowadays, because people are going to grab them.
But then they'll overreact and not throw any picks out because
because
there could be sweat on. I think at some point, you can die. You can die from absolutely anything at any given moment in life, and once we go too far, it's just there's going to be no fun left because of what could happen. So now everyone knows who to blame. No, now everyone knows who to blame.
I always get the blame. So I just want to point this out quick too, because I know people maybe not watch it, but just listen to the show. That
the confetti that we saw it's red and white, and the streamers is still purple and the white. So the last 2 shows. So I don't know if they'll end up changing it, but if that's the same. So there you go. So
maybe there'll be no confetti now because of what you've said, Andy.
It's okay. You can blame me. I know they're right on top of watching KissFAQ. They're watching you for, your books. They're like, we're watching that dude, and there's that Andy character. Man, that guy, it's all his fault. And
there's no one I'd rather do a recap with a show on than you, because you live it, you breathe it. I've been to your museum, your temple, and I just know how much you are a Kiss fan. You're the real deal. You're not a fake ass, lying, backstabbing, devious dude. You're just a guy who enjoys your life and your music and getting together with your friends and enjoying the same. And that's as real as you should be, as anyone should be. You're not a politician, thank God.
Yeah. But, and you know what, really, man? I am bummed because, if it doesn't happen tomorrow, what's going to happen? Are they going to totally cancel it or just postpone it? I'm thinking to myself, man, I hope they postpone it to, like, a different date, like another month or 2 from now. That just, excited again, because then I get to see them a month later again. You know what I'm saying? I don't really kind of want it to end.
They've got advisors. 9 Inch Nails just, decided not to go on the road. Who else did? The female artist of I think Stevie Nicks, or I don't remember. But tours are dropping by the wayside because. To be honest, as they said in the 9 Inch Nails, we thought that it would be safe and time to go back on the road, but it apparently is a little bit too early to do so. So we will have to wait and see. The Foos are out there. Wolfgang Van Halen was out with Mammoth opening for Guns N' Roses and had to come off the road because one of his crew got sick. So, again, everything's outside of your control. You've grabbed the bull by the horns. I've been to the 2 shows, so you got 2. You went and did your thing, and maybe you'll get one more in Hartford. I hope you do. But you can't control the weather. You can't control a pandemic. You can't control much other than dropping the coin and deciding to go. Then you got to get there. So, let's wrap it up. Leave it there. Do what's right for you.
I just want to say, me and Kim, have been together since 2015, and that's 15, 16, and we didn't get to see that many shows together as much, because it's kind of newer met, but going with Kim now, everything's like start all over again for me. It's more, it's like, so some people are like, oh yeah, they had a kid, now they want to take the kid. They're all excited again because they're taking the kid. Now it's Kim and I. We even know that we're, older in our 50s. I'm excited again. It shows you because we're going together. You know what I mean? And that's the point of the whole thing too. Is that, man, it gets me more pumped. For a bit, I was like, I'm going to go see Kiss, but now I have somebody who wants to go with me, who is an actual Kiss fan, and she's like all excited to go, and she's all, yeah, let's go. And that's the point of it. It's just so exciting, something that we both love, and we're doing it together. It's so awesome to see this happen. And that's why I take a lot of photos of her more than like me and stuff, and just like, you know what I mean? And they'll take selfies together, and that's part of the whole thing now for me and now for her. She's like, oh my God, I get to see Kiss in Maine for the last time, because she's originally from Maine, and I'm just like, hey, I hopefully we get to see him again, I really do. I hopefully, if not tomorrow doesn't happen, hopefully at some other point we get to see him again, and seeing other people that we've met through the years, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Through all the years. That's the other thing, seeing you, seeing all the other guys, and seeing people. Oh, man, it's just, I have so much fun just hanging out, seeing everybody, talking to everybody. That's the only thing that's a little bit bummer for the outside shows, is that it used to make like a little party thing, or make people meet up at a certain spot, But being in these huge parking lots, all I can say is, hey, man, I'm in parking lot 9. You know how big some of these lots are so huge that, you trying to find people is almost impossible. So that's the only bumming thing about thing being outside in that way. But other than that, man, go and just have a good time. If you don't want to go, stay home. That's it. Spend your money where you want to spend your money. For Christ's sakes, we spent $20 in the lawn, man. I had a great time.
And those are the words of wisdom. So let's wrap that up. If you want to party, go to the party. If you don't want to party, stay home. There we go. Andy, thanks for sharing your opinions, your memories, your thoughts, your excitement with everyone. Yep. And we'll catch you next time on the KissFAQ podcast. So take care.
Ace is coming.
Thank you for spending time listening to the KissFAQ podcast today. All sales are final. There are no refunds. If you'd like, look us up on Facebook or come over to the KissFAQ message board and discuss the topic we've broadcast today. Don't forget to rate us on iTunes, Spreaker, or wherever you've listened to the show. We hope you'll join us again.